Welcome to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the big butch manly pop culture podcast that may be a secret spy network based on our lapses of memory. I'm Shane Holland.
I'm Andrew Wheeler.
Today we are talking about Citadel Season 2. Citadel is the American spy action television series created by Josh Applebaum, Brian O, and David Vile for Amazon Prime Video, with the Russo brothers acting as executive producers. The show stars Richard Madden, Priyanka Chopra, Stanley Tucci, and Leslie Manville, with Season 2 adding Jack Rayner, Matt Berry, and Lena El Arabi to the mix. Madden and Chopra star as secret agents Mason Kane and Nadia Singh, who, after being attacked by members of a rival agency and having their memories wiped, must reclaim their lost identities and fight back. And that wasn't this season, that was last season.
That's the whole premise.
That's the whole premise of the show, right? Okay. Lapses of dropped in May of 2026. There's no word of a third season at the time of this recording. Let's
shocked.
talk about our thoughts. I mean, I have thoughts on Season 1, I have thoughts on Season 2, and I have thoughts as a whole. But Andrew, tell me yours.
So we did previously cover this on the audio version of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. We talked about Season 1 of Citadel in an episode where we looked at spy TV shows, basically. We loved Day of the Jackal, we loved Slow Horses, we loved Black Doves. We were lukewarm on this one, to say the least.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Richard Madden playing a kick-ass, slick, smooth James Bond type. And he spends the first season basically being this bumbling fool who doesn't get his memory back until the end. And we just don't get to see the sort of the hard-edge, sexy Richard Madden that is the purpose of putting Richard Madden in a show like this. It's a show that was lacking chemistry, that was lacking a real confidence in its own premise. Like, there's an evil agency and there's a good agency, but neither of them really seem to have identities, and neither of them are doing very much. It's like the entire purpose of each agency is to stop the other agency from ever accomplishing anything, and that's it. And
it was hard to say that one was good and one was bad when the good one was indistinguishable from the bad one.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just doing clandestine assassinations for the good of the people.
And it was baffling to see Stanley Tucci and Leslie Manville sort of chewing up scenery in these quite considerable roles. Like they're the secondary leads of the show. And it just sort of baffled my mind that they were in this show. Stanley Tucci continues to baffle, but at least gets more to do, I feel like, in the second season, or at least feels more confident in what he's doing in the second season, even while all around him continues to be vague and unsatisfying.
This is my note from Season 1, and I stand by it. Did I watch all of Citadel Season 1? Yes. Could I tell you anything about it? No. And honestly, same for Season 2.
Yeah, I had to rewatch some episodes.
I finished this 2 days ago. It should be top of mind. I haven't done anything else because I was at work. I don't know what happened, and I think part of the problem is that this show quickly fell into put it on in the background mode, because there's nothing that really sets it apart in a fun way that made me want to sit down and not check my phone and not get up and grab something to eat or drink and not like fold my clothes. Like, there was just like life became more interesting than this show, and that is the biggest condemnation of this show that I can think of. It's all flash and no substance. The only thing that really kept me paying attention was the addition of Jack Rayner, who
Mhm.
is going to be one of my future ex-husbands for good reason. We will talk about him a bit more later. I
I would
will
argue there's not even that much flash, honestly. You say it's all
no,
flash, no substance, but it's not that flashy.
no, it's not. There, it has moments, and there were a couple of standout moments in this season that definitely set it apart from
Yeah,
season one.
yeah.
But they're so they're so separated from each other, and they're so isolated. They're such isolated scenes that it's hard to say that it was good. Like, if you get a couple of moments of greatness in a sea of mediocrity, does that make it great? Absolutely not. The first season is such a distant memory that I found myself asking, who is this? And what happened? A lot. Many, many times in that first
Even
episode.
with
And
Stanley Tucci at the beginning of every episode saying, "Here's what happened."
I will say the action when it happened was intense, and it was more frequent than I found the action in season one. The camp
Yeah,
was acknowledged and ratcheted up a bit for this season, and maybe that's just because Matt Berry is in this season,
right.
but it did feel like this show was completely retooled, and the creators, the producers realized, like, oh, this is not what we thought it was. Maybe let's lean into it that a bit more.
Huh.
And the drama was interesting.
Yeah, there was definitely signs of retooling. Season two started out as a breath of fresh air. In fact, I watched the first episode and was like, "Shane, have you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet?" Because
Mhm.
I was excited for what season two might be based on like the action was better, the comedy was stronger, Jack Rayner was in it.
Yeah.
There was a lightness in those early episodes that the show didn't have before that actually elevated it so much. And then by the end of the 7 episodes, it had squandered all of that. It had reverted to type, I feel like. It had become season one again because it's so self important about its drama outside of its storyline. And I just
Yes.
find it too dry and too irrelevant to this sort of global affairs stuff. Like they needed to, I don't know, I'm not sure what the fix would have been because it is fairly well woven in the global affairs stuff and the personal drama stuff. But they just aren't clicking, they aren't working together.
The world
It's like
feels
the,
so small. That is
yes,
one of the
and
huge problems I
incidental.
have with it. It's so incidental. Like, we are globe-trotting. We are dealing with geopolitics, and yet the entire world revolves around four people. And that does not bring me in. It doesn't make me, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. Even okay, this is the basic example, but Bond. What Bond does feels like it has global consequences. It
Yeah.
always feels relatable to something that is happening in our time, even Moonraker. And this feels so outside of time. Like, it almost, I dare say it feels tone deaf to the times we live in. There's so much happening in our world, and there are so many bad actors, and there's such bad shit happening all the time. And this show about political assassinations has no
Yeah.
comment on any of that.
It feels like it's just the same four characters interacting with each other all the time.
Yeah,
There's very little engagement with a world, very little sense of like, who are the people that will be affected if something goes wrong, if something goes right. It's insular and it's incestuous. I mean, it's literally a show about parents and children. And that is such an uninteresting, like overwrought, overdone theme for a show like this. That it's all like, oh, the mother and the son that don't get on, and then the other mother who's trying to be a good parent, and the other mother who's also trying to be a good parent.
an evil
And
dad who's actually a good dad. Yeah.
yeah, Stanley Tucci being everyone's mother.
Mm. I mean, at
You
least
know,
he was mothering.
he was mothering, and he does mother.
Yeah.
But yes, there was those flashes of butt kicking and eccentricity that made it seem like the show it could have been, either that opened up the possibility of a better show, but it just got weighed down, and so weighed down in episode 6. I don't know if we want to spoil things, but things happen in episode 6 that are just like, well, why am I watching this show anymore? I don't get
Truly.
it. I don't get what the show thought it was about.
We will insert a spoiler alert warning, but we'll talk about that, I think, a little bit later, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay. We have to. We have to.
we have to.
Okay. Let's talk about the women. Priyanka Chopra is fine. She had a couple of great moments, and it's funny that you mentioned episode 6, but I do feel like in episode 6 she was finally able to emote, do something interesting with the character.
Yeah,
And that leading
sure.
into episode 7. What I really loved though was her arc in episode 4. That was the most interesting this show ever got for me, that entire episode. That would be the CIA nightclub.
Isn't it?
And it talks about, like, basically she gets to explore what it is to be in a relationship that has ended badly, and what it means to feel betrayed, and how you carry on when that person is still in your life. I mean, that felt personal for me. I don't know how relatable it is to a lot of people, but I thought that was the most interesting stuff that she got to do all season. But that she is one of our 2 main characters, I think it is emblematic of the show not knowing what to do with its main characters.
She's one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The show wanted to build the producers wanted to build a show around one of the most beautiful women in the world. Well, okay, that's a good instinct, I guess, for this age that we're living in. Uh, but it did not want to make a show that was glamorous and visually stunning. It wanted to make a show that was more serious and weighty. And she's not a very weighty actress. She's not got a lot of presence, unfortunately. So, yeah, she just feels like she was miscast from the beginning. That this does not play to her strengths, and the show is not. I don't know. I've already said it. You've got Leslie Manville in this show, who is one of the leading actresses in the world today, and can say more with a withering glare than Priyanka Chopra Jones can say in an hour-long episode with all the lines she has.
Yep.
Some people are just too pretty. It's very rare to be gifted by God with both hands. Let's just say that.
I know. I mean, clearly we are the exceptions to the rule. Leslie Manville is exciting to watch. To bring up Bond again, she has that very Bond villain level of control and composure that never cracks. She gets to
Yeah.
deliver those speeches that we expect our main villains to deliver, and she is not the main villain of the season. She kind of is, she kind of
Right.
isn't. Once again, the show can't make up its mind about what to do with the good things that it has.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the good things that it has is Lena El Arabi, who is added to the
Yes.
show for the second season as Celine. She doesn't get as strong and meaty a role as Jack Rayner does. Her character isn't as widely drawn, but she is a lot more interesting and fun and compelling and has better lines of dialogue. Like, she and Rayner get to be the sort of fun alternatives to our leads. Like, the show realized, oh, we've just got a couple of misery guts carrying this show. We have got to brighten this up somehow. And so they introduce characters that are kind of like the lead characters if the lead characters were fun.
Yeah, we're human. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's great. I really loved her. I loved I forget, I didn't look up the name of the actress, the other lady assassin, the enemy assassin.
Yeah.
She does great work. She's like the Sophia Botella of this show. Yeah, and Ashley Cummings as Abby was she has a hard role to land, honestly. Like, she's so season 1 in that she is the sad wife stuck at home who doesn't get to be in exciting plots. She gets one. There's the great scene in the sort of the truck stop. Like, that had some really good moments with
Yes.
the guy that's sent to save her.
Right.
But then she spends the rest of the show. I mean, she spends the whole show as a damsel in distress, and then
I wrote the exact same
does
thing.
the turn, which by now we've seen so many times in this show that it sort of just felt like, oh, okay, we're leaning on that again.
To me, it's so hilarious that this show is set 5 years into the future. It's like not far enough into the future for like anything to look different, but far enough into the future for them to like hand wave like, yeah, mind control chip.
Just trying to see if I can find the name of the actress.
Other assassin.
Other Assassin. She was great, Other Assassin. And if I ever find your name, I'll treasure it.
Yeah, I'm not willing to do that much work for this particular episode. Let's talk about The Boys. The price of admission.
Yeah. I want to save the best to last on this one, I think, which means I'm going to start with Richard Madden, which is sorry, Richard.
Oof,
But
yeah.
no, I love Richard Madden. I think he's so handsome. I think
Yeah.
he would have made a brilliant Bond.
Yes.
But his audition for that role was The Bodyguard. It was not Citadel. He's much stronger in this season because he gets to be the kick-ass agent that we want to see him being.
We
He
were
gets to be
promised.
dangerous. Yeah. And they underline that. Oh, the thing he does well is Gil. And he is sexy and he is interesting this time around. A little heavy on the eyebrow pencil, but I will allow it. But yeah, I enjoyed Mason Kane much more this season when they allowed him to become unsheathed, shall we say. I think it's episode 5, the London Underground sequence,
Yes,
where he gets
very
to
good.
really gets to flex his muscles as a almost as a villain, honestly. Like he makes a very
He's kind of a
compelling.
villain this season.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to think what mediates that. No, nothing. All the way through, he's kind of a villain this
He's
season.
self-motivated the entire season
Yeah,
for selfish desires, and he kind of gets a villain's story, a villain
Yeah.
arc that was maybe weirdly satisfying. You know what isn't satisfying? Richard Madden is so hot, and I don't think he gets to be hot in this show. He only gets to be clothed and angry, clothed and brooding, clothed and sad. He gets
Yeah.
some fun spy shit to do, but that's it. Like, man,
Yeah.
everything about him is a downer from episode 1 to episode 7.
Yeah. Yeah, let him be charming, let him be suave, let him be seductive. Like there's even a sequence in the CIA nightclub where Jack Rayner's character is arguing with his partner about whether or not Richard Madden's character is handsome, basically. Like, is he attractive? Is he more attractive than Jack Rayner? And his partner is teasing him the whole way and basically saying, oh no, he's the man that everyone wants. But you're watching it and thinking, no, not today. Like, give me a choice between Richard Madden and Jack Rayner, and my head would explode.
Put me in between them. Yeah.
But give me a choice between Mason Kane and Jack Rayner's character on this show, and it's like, no, I'm going with Jack Rayner.
That guy knows how to
100%.
have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want some sad little white boy. Tucci lets loose. I think Tucci said, look, if I'm coming back, I'm doing this my way. I'm going to have fun. I get the good lines. I get the good gadgets. I'm going to be the Q and the N. And
maybe
worked.
the James.
And maybe the James. Honestly, yeah, a lot of the James. The escape from the state chateau castle was so fun, and that happened so early into the season. But what a great start to the show, getting to see Tucci as kind of an action star.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant. And great. I mean, we get so many older men who are trying to be action stars, and Tucci does it effortlessly.
Yeah. Notice that when men get old, we just extend what leading man can do into old age.
Yeah.
When women get old, you're a hag, you're a mother, you're dead.
Or all three if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Berry has the golden touch because he makes every scene he's in watchable. He is one of when he showed up, I paid attention to this show. Like, I sat down and I looked up and I put my phone down and I was like, finally, some gold. And all he has to do is be himself. Like, he's never not Matt Berry in whatever he's in. And that's fine. Like, do what you do and do it well.
It just feels like it was a mistake. Like, if they had been naming the characters now, they maybe wouldn't have called Priyanka Chopra Jones's character Nadia,
Mm.
because you get Matt Berry saying Nadia, and you're like, oh, I'm transported back to Toronto and to What We Do in the Shadows. Nadia.
We also have Gabriel Leone as
Yes.
Paolo, the big baddie of the season, one of the big baddies of the season.
One off. Yeah, yeah.
Woof.
But what a beautiful man. And he does get to be sexy. Like, he gets to work out with his shirt off and have the camera lovingly trail its way down his body. And it's like, oh, this man is beautiful. Boy, I sure wonder what sort of a villain arc he's going to have.
Oof, yeah. Has he been in other things? Surely you would know.
He's not been in other English language things, I think, is the reality.
Okay.
So
I want to
nothing
see
we
him
would
in a lot
probably have seen
more.
him in. Yeah, and in a lot less.
Yeah, agree. Both things can be true. And then, I mean, I've already claimed him as my future ex-husband. Jack Rayner is also mostly clothed, but he has the energy that I want and that this show needs. The character is written so much better than Richard Madden's character. Like, dynamic, has levels, has fun, has witty, quippy one-liners, gets to do the action that I expected in season 1, and
Yeah.
he gets to show off his butt once in a picture. And God, that was great.
I mean, we have seen Jack Rayner fully naked in Midsommar, so
I mean,
we know what we're
quite
working with.
different circumstances, a lot less sexy, more
Yes.
terrifying.
Harder to enjoy, but not impossible. But, you know, Jack Rayner is absolutely the trade of the season as Hutch. There is something so magnetic about him. He is so cute. And yeah, he's so fun in this show and gets so wasted in the back half of this show because you can kind of feel the energy of the show tagged to him the whole way through. Like, anytime he's in an episode,
It feels alive.
there's a lot to enjoy. Yeah. And then by the end of the season, it's like, we've forgotten about him. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure he's in episode 7, but I don't remember what he does. I don't remember anything that happened in
I don't
episode 7.
remember
I'm
anything that
checked out.
happened. Yeah. I remember looking up and being like, what's falling from the sky? Why?
Right.
This is about satellites?
Yeah, this whole time.
The whole time? Yeah, Jack Rayner is such a light, and yeah, I love him in everything he does. He's such a great actor, and he's so beautiful. He's just
so beautiful. Those
he's got
eyes.
those eyes, that baby, like, he's got those baby cheeks that never went away, and you just want to, like...
Yes, I certainly do want to grab his cheeks.
I think it's time we talk about the music.
Well, there is music.
Is there?
I'm confidently... Well, I had to go back and check, honestly. There are, I think the sting of the show is like timpani drums, this sort of 60s timpani.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You're trying to bring it to mind. I can't bring it to mind, but I wrote down the note about it. There's
so it must be true.
Yeah. It sounds kind of sick.
It's somewhere in there. I know what you're talking about. Yes, like the end. Okay, the end of every episode ends with this like freeze frame, and like the characters move to the side, and the Citadel logo comes up, and that is, and yes, that feels very 60s spy TV show. I can hear it now. That's 2 seconds of music. That's all I remember.
And you don't remember.
And I don't, and I didn't remember that.
You could not recite that sting if I offered you Jack Rayner on a plate.
I just finished.
Sorry, Midsummer vibes again.
Yeah, I just finished Night Agent season 3, and I thought while watching like, this show knows how to do spy action music. It felt reminiscent of 24. It had like this background heat and
Yeah.
spiciness that, like, sure, I can't go out and hum the tune, but at least like the music is coming in those scenes in a way that propels things forward, that makes me feel excited for what I'm watching. This music is so forgettable that I can't think of a single lick of it. Like, it is just such background noise the way that this show was a background show.
Yeah, there's just no strong musical identity. The 60s timpanis hint at them wanting to do something, but they just aren't committed to it. I was rewatching episode 6 last night because I was like, I don't remember how the big thing that happened in that episode even happened.
Hmm.
I should really, maybe I was looking at my phone. Like, I should really rewatch that. My roommate came in while I was watching the episode and said, "Oh, you're watching something spooky." I was like, "Oh, that's odd." Yeah, it's all these like dirge-like violin strings, and it
Hmm.
sounds like a horror show if you're just listening to the music. And it's like, well, that's a very poor misstep in terms of musical identity.
Yeah, where's my thrumming bass? Where is the hi-hat of the drum? Like, where
Yeah.
is the electric guitar? Where's the brass? Where is my
Where's the
brass?
brass? Yeah.
And I could say that about the whole show. Where is the brass? It's just missing that, like, concussive percussion element that
Uh,
that makes spy music to me. The fashion, boy, did we get a lot of patented Archer black turtlenecks.
so many tactical turtlenecks. Yeah, this is one of those. We try to dress up sometimes for the episodes. There was nothing I could do
What could I
today.
wear? I
I
don't
was
have a
wearing.
black turtleneck.
Yeah, I have a black t-shirt. That's close. Black t-shirt is kind of what this show does in terms of style. It's drab. The lighting is dim. One character wears a red duffel coat, and I was like, one character wears a red duffel
A
coat
shock
in
of
my
color.
notes.
Yeah.
And then I sat with it and thought, well, that's not very exciting.
No. No, not even okay. The best visual element of this entire show was the CIA hideout slash nightclub. And I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you what our main characters wore. And I had to look it up and I was like, oh, it's so boring. Richard Madden is wearing a black dress shirt that has a little bit of texture to it. And Priyanka is wearing like the most simple white dress that looks like it could have come out of anyone's closet.
Yeah.
And then the other two characters are wearing waiters' uniforms. So even at the most glamorous moment of this show, that is the second most expensive show in Amazon's roster and possibly ever made. Non-existent. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it really feels like they were trying anything that would feel like an identity for this show is suppressed, is
Yeah,
made bland. It's such a shame because, like I said, I want to like this show. I
I
wanted to
so
like it in
do.
the first season. I came into the second season thinking, oh, they made it good. And then by the end, I'm just as upset about it as I was the first time.
Yeah,
Like, this is not me coming in a hater. This is me being like, why couldn't you have been better? Why couldn't you
mm.
be like your brothers?
We really, in these past like 5 years, there's been a surge of spy action. And
Yeah,
again, not to bring it to the world around us, but when the world is in a geopolitical shitstorm, this is where this genre thrives. And for this
yeah.
show, again, the second most expensive show that Amazon has ever made, for this to land like this is just it's disappointing. These are great actors. This should have been a like knock out of the park kind of show. There are 4 locations that are reused in almost every episode. Why aren't we globetrotting? We see Braga's estate slash castle. We get Mom's house. We get the sad cabin. We get a hotel room. I think there's Matt Berry's island. So 5, sorry. But it's like we're stuck in these 5 locations.
Yeah,
Mind-boggling.
no one travels through an airport at any time that I can
No.
recall. No one stands on a beach. No one skis. Yeah, I made a note of 3 looks, looking for looks, honestly, on a quick rewatch. Red duffel coat. Madden has a really nice looking comfy sweater in episode 6.
Huh, yeah.
Probably in the whole show, actually. He's probably wearing the same sweater in every scene, except when he's at a party.
Right.
And Jack Rayner has some really great sunglasses. And that's it.
That's it.
That's and I'm not looking up any of those things on the, wear it, you buy it websites.
No.
Just dull. It does a little better for sets, especially set piece sets, like the London Underground location, I think,
Great.
was beautifully gothic. In the style of those 60s timpani drums, Mrs. Braga has a hotel suite that has a sunken lounge, bucket chairs, patterned rugs.
Thank God. That was
It's
such a
beautiful.
treat. That
Yeah.
really broke up the monotony of what we had been watching, and I was so glad that we had that there.
Yeah. And even then, like, the lampshades are giving off a sickly yellow light. It's like, thank God for the windows behind the back of the room that were giving some natural light, or probably key lights through a set window. But,
Right.
at least it meant that one scene was not lit yellow all the way through. And the CIA, episode 4, I think, is a high point. The heist sequence in the CIA building was really good fun.
Yeah.
But, like, not a particularly gorgeous set, but it was like, it served its purpose well. It looked like an
Visually
office
interesting.
building.
Yeah. Just disappointing. Just so disappointing. And
Yeah.
speaking of disappointments, the queerness. I mean, Andrew, take it away. Give us the list of all of the queer highlights of this show. 1.
Stanley Tucci is in this show, and he is ambiguous at all times.
2.
There are repressed relationships between parents and children.
3.
There's an overbearing mother
That's
and an
it.
absent father. That's it.
We'll add an optional 4th, nightclub bathrooms.
Fair. Yes, very fair. Yeah, this is a show filmed in 2024, 5 maybe?
4. I'm going to say 4.
Released in 26, and does not give us a single queer hint of anything, not a sniff, which makes me very worried about what Amazon is going to do with Bond if they are this averse to showing the world as it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, partly the show is so insular, is so tied up in the lives of 4 characters, so disinterested in actually showing you the world in every sense. I guess it's sort of just an academic asterisk on all of that there are no queer characters, no queer elements in the show. But it still is galling because hey, what if Jack Rayner's character was queer? What if
the
Matt Berry's
assassin
character was
lady?
queer? The assassin lady could easily have been sapphic. Lena El Arabi's character could have been queer.
What if Braga was bisexual?
Yeah. What if Braga's husband rather than Braga's wife was the one that had to carry us through the final act? I mean, not great when the villain's the only queer person in the show,
No.
but still.
But at least it's something we're used to.
Yeah. There are evil gays. We know that. We acknowledge it.
Yeah, we know them. Yeah.
We know them.
You're looking at one of them right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you decide. Not you. You, the viewer.
So yeah, it's oof.
Disappointing.
It's an oof.
Yeah, it's a big oof. I think at this point we take a very hard spoiler break, and at this point it's flashing on the screen. You are being given your warning. We are going to talk about the end of this show and what that means for the future of this show and what it meant for the present of this show starting right now. Episode 6 was the nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah.
And the way it was handled.
Tell us what happened.
So,
you don't have to go into detail. I know that the recall is loose.
Honestly, I was trying to think of the character names, and I just honestly don't care. Richard Madden's wife has a chip implanted in her
Boy, does she have a chip.
here and here and here when she is captured by the villains, and they get mind control over her and they turn her on, and she goes on a rampage and stabs Priyanka and shoots Richard Madden in the chest, the torso. One shot, Richard Madden bleeds out and dies. A sad, sad death that he will
Wow.
not be coming back from. It was made very clear, as if that actor said, you know what? I think I'm done. And they had to write him out. And good for him. He made the right choice. But
He made the
damn,
right choice.
that scene sucked. And at first, it got me. At first, I was like on the edge of my seat, like, wait, what? No. Surely they're not going
Yeah.
the character, this character, this archetype, this trope, that character always finds a way to survive. So kudos to them for making a strong decision, but what a downer end to a downer character who never gets that redemption that this show really needed. He never
Yeah.
once got to have fun or a glimpse of life or a deeper examination of who is Mason Kane, who is Kyle Chandler? No, that's someone else.
That is someone else. I don't remember his
Who is Kyle? Like, it's left unresolved. And then they end up killing his wife, Abby? I think her name is Abby.
Yeah.
In the next
Yes, but
episode.
Celeste is her
Right.
is her assassin name.
And that left me thinking, like, well, what happens to the kid? And the show does not care. That doesn't come up again. Like, we've dealt with that. Goodbye, Hendrix.
Which was an awful name for a child.
Oh,
Sorry to everyone out there who called their child Hendrix, but
with an X.
I mean, you're probably
God.
white and you called your child Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at yourself.
Yeah, take a deep, hard look in the mirror. Such a downbeat. But it's such a letdown way to end this show. And let's be clear, I think we're ending this show, right?
I think probably, yeah, the show clearly did not ever. I mean, it actually gets a lot of viewers. That's the weird thing. Like, people watch the show, but no one talks about it. It's like the Avatar of TV shows, but it's so expensive and it's not had any kind of cultural cachet. The core show did not elevate the spin-offs enough that they were worth continuing on with. I think it's just, and between the first season and the second season, Amazon acquired the rights to James Bond. So all of these things together tell you that they're not making a third season of this show, and there isn't even really like a thing to resolve in like a movie. Like, I didn't end the season thinking, wait, but what about X? No, they tied it up as neatly as they could in the circumstances. I could see a world in which like Jack Rayner's character was supposed to lead a spin-off, and I would still watch that spin-off.
I would watch that.
But I think it's best for everyone involved if they just bury Citadel and say, we tried, we failed.
We're going to take what we
good night.
learned and put it to use on the Bond film.
Yeah.
But hopefully they don't take everything they learned. And hopefully other people are at the helm. And hopefully Amazon doesn't meddle in the way that they meddled in this.
Yeah. I there's a lot of good people working on Bond.
Yeah.
I remain optimistic.
Me too.
It's the Amazon meddling is the thing. It's the only thing that can be concerning. But yeah, having Mason killed off felt so disappointing, because not just because I like looking at Richard Madden, but because he was the fulcrum of all the drama. It felt like nothing could then really be resolved with him dead. You know, the love triangle the family drama, the relationship with his mother. Like he was the single character tying all the other characters together, and you take him out and you are left with a center that cannot hold.
The
And taking a gut shot and dying, James Bond would never. He would
never.
never.
No.
He would
But
he would have some special way of breathing that he learned in the boat service that keeps him alive, you
yeah,
know?
he
He
would
would have
slow his
something.
heartbeat down and
Yes.
go into a meditative coma.
Torpor.
Yeah.
The blood would stop. The blood would just like
Yeah.
some of it would draw back into his body.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He would
Uh-huh.
go.
We are both thinking of Pierce Brosnan, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, episode 7, I think, really proved that we needed Richard Madden
Yeah.
because I have no idea what happened in episode 7, and I watched it. Like, something about
Satellites change.
assassinating
Satellites.
a prime minister of Russia, and the bad guys want to do it, but wait, no, the good guys do it. And the reason the good guys do it is so that they can gain control of the satellites that apparently have been the thing that we've been after this whole time.
Yeah.
And then the good guys blow up the satellites, and that's how you know they're good. None of the character stuff that happened in that episode landed. There was nothing that made me excited for season 3. There was nothing. There was nothing. It was just, yeah, it turns out that sad little man was the reason that this show worked.
And it didn't.
And it didn't. And it really didn't. Okay, let's end our spoiler break and go into something positive. Our ratings. We here at Kiss Kiss Bang Bang like to give a base score out of 5 for the work, and then we award bonus points for women, boys, music, fashion, queerness, the topics we just talked about, and that gives it a gay score out of 5. We are allowed to apply a penalty if something is particularly egregious, like racism, sexism, homophobia, and that'll give us a score out of 10 altogether. So, Andrew, what is your base score for this piece of work?
I'm giving it a 2. It's not. Am I sad that I watched it? Kind of. But there are elements. I did honestly think season 2 was going to lift it up, that it was going to end at like a 3 or a 4. It did not. It sunk right back down again. But, you know, it's a 2.
Yeah, there were points.
Why am I trying to fill time here?
I don't know. I thought I was going to give it a 3 early in the season. I thought I was going to give it a 1 by the end of the season. I think 2 is the right place for it to go. Do the women get a bonus point?
You know, Priyanka Chopra or Chopra Jones, I don't know which one she actually uses for her credits. Maybe it's just Chopra. She's not great. She doesn't sell it for me. But there are enough women who are doing great work, especially Leslie Manville. Like, I kind of hate her whole deal. I hate her character. I hate her storyline. But she's still Leslie Manville.
Yeah.
So let's say she and some kick-ass assassins get the women point for me.
Yeah, Celine did a lot of work for me, and Leslie Manville.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to give them the point, a little begrudgingly, to be honest.
A little.
How about the boys?
But look at what's to come.
Yeah.
The boys, that's the only place where I'm like unambiguous. Like Jack Rayner, gorgeous. Richard Madden, gorgeous. The villain, gorgeous. And also we get to have a lot of fun with Matt Berry and Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, okay. I absolutely agree there. Because this is the last point I will be giving this show. Music, no.
No, absolutely not.
Fashion, what?
No. It squanders its opportunities for fashion.
And speaking of squandered opportunities, queerness, like that is almost a penalty for me. So that gives us a gay score of 2. Are we applying a penalty to this show? The penalty I can think of is that it took up so much of my time.
Yeah, we don't actually give the penalty just for a show being boring.
Mm-hmm.
But if we did, this would be a candidate. I'm not giving it the penalty. No. It doesn't earn that. It deserves what it does get, which is 4 out of 10.
Yeah, that is 100% correct.
Look, what a disappointment.
What a disappointment. I had such high hopes. The second most expensive show that Amazon has ever made.
Honestly. Is the number one Road to a Million?
No, it's Rings
Okay.
of Power, Lord of the
Okay, that
Rings.
makes more sense.
Yeah. That
Just say
show
Road
that
to a Million's
cost like $1
expensive.
billion.
Right. Yeah. Never watched it.
That will be our next episode.
You know I'm allergic to hobbits.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Tell your friends. Check out our socials. Don't
Please
forget
do.
us like we forgot this.
What are we doing here?
I just was I just talking to you? Is my name Shane Holland? I thought I was Andre Kavokian. As
Well, it's
always.
been fun, Andre.
As always, thank you for watching. Until next time, kiss kiss.
Bang.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. You can follow Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at KKBBpod, or email us at kisskissbangbangpod@gmail.com.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is recorded in Toronto on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.